grass. Love on my life, it's always gonna last. Mama love it when I'm going to class, and you know every trial and test, yes, I'ma pass. 40 days, 40 nights, hit fast. Always by my side, always down the ride. That's why I call your name, they come and say today, you're the only one, you're shy. Late night when I get a little wrong.
Hi everyone, I am coming before you right now in order to go over the next financial tips with scriptural references. The subject matter for today is going to be how scriptural principles affect financial freedom. Okay? How scriptural principles affect financial freedom. Okay? So the first thing we're going to go over is the Most High has established certain universal, non-optional principles of life. Okay? Failure to live by these principles will directly affect our attitude towards money. Okay, this will directly affect our attitudes towards money. So if we don't follow the rules that have been set before us, it will have a rude awakening when it comes to money. The first principle that we're going to go over is self-acceptance. And the scriptural reference for that is going to be Isaiah 45, 9 and 10, and also Matthew 6 and 27. Okay, Matthew 6 and 27. Yet again, this is self-acceptance. It states that a man who rejects the way that the Most High made him will experience strong feelings of inferiority. Okay, you will feel inferior. To compensate for these feelings, he will often buy expensive items which he does not need and cannot really afford. So deep. Just because, when, it is stereotypical, but let the truth be told. When people feel inferior, they try to have the best of the best in order to say, well, I have this, so I'm better than you. And that is not Christ. That is not the love of Christ at all. So in that, you don't want to be puffed up behind materialistic things, because those things mean nothing. I mean, yes, it's nice and it's okay to have nice things, but if you're following his rules and his laws and his statutes and his commands and doing everything out of love, then you have nothing to worry about. The second thing is going to be responses to authority. Okay, your responses to authority will be affected. The scriptural reference for that is going to be Ephesians 6, 1 through 3, and also Proverbs 3 and 33. Okay, 3 and 33. It says, it is natural to want to be independent. Okay, so it is natural to want to do that. It's natural for us to say, I got it, and I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. But in knowing that it is nothing of ourselves that we do anything, and it is, us being chosen and being utilized, and that we are subservient, as we spoke about before, you need to understand that, it's natural to feel like that, but don't forget, it's nothing of yourself that you do anything that you do. However, the Most High emphasizes the importance of being under protection and the direction of proper authority. Okay? The Most High promises a blessing to those who honor their father and mother, but he warns that those who reject the scriptural counsel of their parents will be cursed. That is will be, not may be. Will be. If a man does not learn to be under authority at home, he will leave conflicts in his employment. He may then be drawn into the false conclusion that he should be his own boss. But this will only produce new pressures from the Most High to teach him to properly respond to authority. This is going to force him to teach him how to properly respond to those authorities. Because if you can't even get it right with your parents, or, the people that have trained you, obviously, or whatever guardian that may have been at that time, then you're not honoring him, because that's what he told you to do. So if he has to correct you, it's going to be a whole nother story than mommy saying, look, honey, I need you to do this. And, if you don't do that, you're going to get you're not going to be able to go outside, or, you're not going to be able to, whatever your mom told you was going to be to do. Whatever your favorite thing was, your mom said you couldn't do, it's going to be completely different when the Most High has to come down and say, okay, now I'm finna deal with you. You ain't going to want that. So try to understand your position. Also, yet again, the scriptural reference is Ephesians 6, 1 through 3, as well as Proverbs 3 and 33. The next thing is a clear conscience, okay? A clear conscience. It says, your scriptural reference is going to be 1 Timothy 1 and 19, okay? 1 and 19. It says, lack of clear conscience in one area will give the incentive to lower the Most High's standards in other areas. Once this happens, compromise will cause that man to make shipwreck of his faith, and he will begin to trust his own judgment in financial decisions. He may also try to compensate for the guilt by inappropriate use of the funds. Okay, so what you don't want to do is you don't want to lower your standards, or lower the Most High standards into what you want it to be. And when you feel guilty about it, then you inappropriately use the money that He has bestowed upon you. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Lowering the Most High standard to what you want it to be inevitably lowers, in my opinion, lowers the level of blessing that you could have received. If you lower your standards, like, for example, if you say, Father, I prayed to you about this, and then you go back and say, well, if you don't give me this, then I'll just take this. And it's like, I want you to have it, but you just lowered your standards. So it's like, you didn't even have faith enough in me to even follow through with that. You know what I mean? Like, I will give it to you, but you doubt it within your heart, and you lowered your standard when I am the owner of everything, all things, not some. So don't lower your standard, as well as don't take away from His standard either. And let that be the bar. You know what I mean? Like, let that be the goal. Let that be what it is at all times. Like, if you follow Him, He's going to direct you. So don't go against that. Again, the scriptural reference for that is going to be 1 Timothy 1 and 19. The next thing is going to be a forgiving spirit. Okay, a forgiving spirit. And the scriptural reference for that is going to be Hebrews chapter 12, verses 15 through 17. Okay, it says, a man who has a forgiving spirit is conscious of the great debt that he owes to the Most High. That is so powerful. Why? Because if you have a forgiving spirit, that means that you know that you have to be forgiven for things. That reminds you that you are not perfect. Like, no one is. Like, who can cast the first stone? Like, seriously, you can't. Everyone has their imperfection. Get the beam out of your eye first before you try to tell somebody else, but understand that, being forgiving is so, so important, because you also want to be forgiven, because you know that you're not perfect. And the Most High looks at us and says, well, why should I forgive you when you didn't forgive them? So always be mindful that, you're not perfect. And if you think that you are, cast a stone. However, a man who has a bitter, unforgiving spirit will find that it will adversely affect his business relationships and his personal health. Why? Okay. Why does it affect your business relationships and your personal health? Okay. Now think about it in this way. Your business relationships are what keep you going. Okay. Say, for example, you have people that, for example, your employees, you have people that work for you or do work for you, but you might call them something else besides an employee. You might call them, I don't know, for spiritual purposes, ministers or deacons or choir members or praise and worship team or the whatever, whatever you call them. You might not call them employees, but that's what they are, whether they understand that or not. You'll find that if you have a bitter and unforgiving spirit, your business relationship with them, if they mess up or they don't do something exactly how you wanted it or things didn't go exactly to the plan, if you don't forgive them for that, they may walk away or they may quit or they may say, well, I don't want to do this anymore because it makes me feel like this and it makes me feel like that, and I don't think I want to do this anymore because I don't like the way that you treat me. And when you have your employees or the people that, do things for you walking away, that puts more pressure on you. And in putting that pressure on you, it causes stress and it causes anxiety and it causes for you to have this overwhelming spirit. You know what I mean? And those things are not, and that those things are not of the Most High. Like, being stressed out is not of the Most High. Like, He wants us to be happy. He is love. He is joy. He is peace. He is, all of those things, fruits of the Spirit, and that's not of Him. So it will affect you mentally. It will affect you spiritually. It will affect you, in every direction. So be mindful that, when you're treating people wrong and they're not there for you anymore, what happens? Everything shifts back to you and the pressure that's upon you. So just be careful of, your unforgiveness. And if you want the Father to forgive you, then make sure that you're being forgiving too. That is so important because love covers a multitude of sin. And also, that is the most important thing that Christ spoke about, is to love. So, love thy neighbor as I love thyself. If you want to be forgiven, then forgive. Put it that way. The next thing is yielding rights. Yielding rights. And the scriptural reference for that is going to be Psalms 25 and 9. Okay, Psalms 25 and 9. And it says, one yields his rights to the Most High as a meek person. Meek person. The Most High promises that the meek will inherit the earth. So if you want your inheritance, you must be meek. Not puffed up, I know it all, I know everything, I'm perfect, because that's not true. If you were perfect, then why did Christ come in the first place? Thank you. Why does He have to come back? Thank you. And if you feel like you're perfect, then isn't that inevitably going against Christ's doctrine in the first place? Because if you think that you're perfect, then He wouldn't have had to come here to save us. Anyway, a meek person works to earn a hearing rather than demanding one. Okay? Demanding is not what you want to be. Such a person is assured of good judgment in financial matters. Okay? When you're being meek, you're going to make good decisions because you're not going to be so much in a rush. You're not going to say, I'm impulsive and I got to have it right now. You're not going to fall to the lust factor of what you see or what is before you at the moment, or you don't want to fall into that moment of being prideful and trying to, compensate, and then you spend the money the wrong way because you feel guilty. You don't want to fall into any of that. So if you stay in meekness, you will make good financial decisions because you won't be worried about that. You'll be worried about, well, what does the Most High want me to do with this money? What does He want me to do? How does He want me to spend it? What can I do to edify Him? What can I do for the kingdom today? So if you look at it in that way, I mean, you'll stay meek, and that's what you want, because He's happy with you when you're like that anyway. The next thing is going to be moral freedom, okay? Moral freedom. And the scriptural reference for that is going to be Proverbs 5:8-10. Chapter 5, verses 8 through 10. And it gives a reference to a man who violates the Most High's moral laws. Now, you know how we talk about the laws. You know how we talk about the statutes. You know how we talk about the commandments. So, one who violates the moral laws, remember that, will become prey to immoral women. So deep. Those women will bring him poverty. Wow. Like, I want to stop right there just for a moment, because it just said those women will bring you poverty. So that should be a tall tale sign of what type of woman that you are dealing with. If you start to deal with poverty, that it is immoral. You will never win going against what the Most High has commanded. And that includes the moral laws. And you don't want to be in poverty. He doesn't want that for you. So that was the purpose of Him setting the rules, so that you knew what to do and what not to do, and how to be and not be, in order to receive the blessing. Like, is it that hard? Anyway. And others will exploit the labors of His hands. Exploit the labors of His hands. Okay? So if you're doing things immorally, not only will you be in poverty, but you will be exploited as well. That is not good, and that's not fun. And that's not the fruits of the Spirit. That is not happiness. That is not joy, peace, love. Like, what? So be careful of going against the moral laws. And this is why that they're so important. Like, don't forget what He has told us. Okay, last but not least, life purpose. Okay, life purpose. The scriptural reference for that is going to be Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. Okay, Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. And it states, when a man commits himself to the Most High's purposes for his life, he has the clearest basis for making wise financial decisions. Okay? Let me go back over that again so you make sure you heard me. When a man commits himself to the Most High's purposes for his life, not for a short time, for his life, and he commits, not for a short time, he commits. Okay? He has the clearest basis for making wise financial decisions. He knows which purchases will assist him in reaching his goals and which ones will hinder the Most High's purpose for his life. So he will know. He will know because it will be told to him, because he's committed. So the Father is communicating with him on a regular basis. He's communicating with him. He's praying about it. He's following the rules. He's not doing anything immoral. So in that, you still have the guidance that you're looking for. You're being led by Christ. You're following Christ. You are being led by the Spirit. You're utilizing wisdom. Wisdom is a feminine spirit. So utilize that so that you have everything that you need in abundance. And He didn't, He gave us the earth. We are supposed to, look, Adam and Eve. Okay? So just because they made mistakes doesn't mean that, Christ didn't come here for us to have repentance. Like, that's what repentance is for. So if you messed up yesterday, take the steps, make action on clearing that up. If you have the opportunity to right your wrongs and not do them again, then do that. And that even sometimes means going back to someone that you may have hurt and apologize and tell them why, and let them say, I was so hurt by you. Or it may be, I need to clean my credit up because I didn't pay my bills like I was supposed to. I wasn't following the rules. Let me pray to the Most High so that He will, put the right person in place for me to do that. Let me be educated on this. Let me learn how to do this, and go from there and utilize the money that He does give to me in the right way, and use it in a moral direction, and don't break His rules. So you might have things that you need to go back and clear up. So make sure that you're doing that so that you can receive your blessings wholeheartedly, fully, and then you will have the financial freedom that you're looking for, and you will owe no man. You won't owe someone. You will inevitably continue to be His servant, and He set up a kingdom for us. Like, Christ went to make a place for us. So that place, and the place that you stored up your treasures, which should be in heaven, that's what you'll inherit. I want that, and I hope that you do too. So with that being said, that is how scriptural principles affect financial freedom. Okay, those are scriptural principles and how they affect financial freedom. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I look forward to making more of them for you. All praise be to the Most High. It is nothing of myself that I'm able to do these things. I love you all. All right.
Deep like grass. Love on my life, it's always gonna last. Bible open when I'm going to class, and every trial exists. Yes, I will pass. 40 days, 40 nights, he fast. Always by my side, always down the ride. That's why I call your name, they come and say today, you're the only one. You're shy. Late night.